Should you travel to Cedar Point alone? Well, that's what we're talking about today. I hope you're ready and excited. Let's go. All right, guys, I am once again on my way to Cedar Point or to the surrounding area of Cedar Point. I am going to, it's winter time, and I am headed to Sawmill Creek for their winter activities there, which I'm very excited to see. I did get to see that last year also, and it was really, really fun. Once again, I'm traveling by myself, and I've heard a lot of people asking comments, or I guess I've seen people asking comments before, whether or not it's worthwhile to go to Cedar Point by themselves. You know, is it boring for me? All that kind of stuff. And so today is just kind of a stream of conscious of me just talking about whatever I can think about as pros and cons for going to Cedar Point by yourself. Now, this thing is going to be moving a lot. I really just can't stop that. I've tried as hard as I could to get the best thing that I could get for in the car, but no matter what I have, they either melt or this thing bounces quite a bit. So I'm gonna try to kind of hold it a bit steady, but it's gonna bounce. Just just make your peace with that. Now, before I get into pros and cons, let me know down below what you guys think. Have you ever traveled by yourself, and was it a positive experience or was it a negative experience? Because, you know, I think different people have different viewpoints on that. First of all, let's talk about the negatives of traveling by yourself. Traveling by yourself is, first of all, I think to a lot of people, boring. It's not so boring to me, although I can feel it. You know, I can understand why other people would find it very boring. For me, it's not boring because I'm always doing something on social media, no matter what. So when I'm in the park and I'm waiting on a ride, you know, like, yes, I'm constantly, you know, posting things on Instagram. I'm finding cool people in the park, and I need to make sure that they get up onto the community tab on YouTube, or I'm posting something on Twitter, or just like things like that. There's just always something to be posting. During the season in particular, comments on the YouTube channel are huge, so I'm always having new comments coming in, and I'm always trying to keep up with those and make sure that I respond to at least a healthy amount of them. It's gotten to be enough where I can't really respond to every single person who writes something on YouTube, but I still try to respond to a healthy amount of comments for that people send to me, because I enjoy engaging with you guys as much as I can. Now, that's for me though. Most people don't, you know, post every day on Instagram or on all these different things. By the way, go check out my Instagram or Twitter if you'd like to. It's Not Your Normal G1. I'd love to have you guys there if you would like to be there. But yeah, most people don't do quite as much of that, and it's not like a semi-job for them to do that. So when I'm in the park lines and just waiting for a ride, I can definitely see how that could get very, very boring. And I will say, whenever I have a friend with me who's hanging out in the parks, waiting in that line goes by so much faster. An hour-long line, when you have friends to talk to for that full hour, feels like 20 minutes. Like, it doesn't feel long at all. When you're just posting ad nauseum things on Instagram, it starts to feel a little bit boring. Or when you're just answering a bunch of comments or things like that on YouTube, it does start to get a little bit boring, and it starts to feel the length of the line in that case. So that would definitely be a negative that I see. Another negative right now that I would have, even that I'm experiencing right now, is there's just no one to take over for you. If you want to rest in the car, if you want to just not always have to be the driver, you can't split that up with anyone. There's no splitting up costs of gas. There's no splitting up time spent driving. You are the sole proprietor, and you're the only person who's doing these different things. So because of that, that can make things a little bit difficult also. It's definitely nice to be able to split up a car ride between two people rather than just being the one person who has to do it. Now, I'll like take naps and things like that in the car if I need to. So that always works, but that's it takes a lot longer in that case than if you didn't have to stop and you could just get home right away without having the full car ride be your responsibility. Another con of traveling alone is that there are some things you are not allowed to do. Certain slides, especially like in water parks, you cannot ride, like family style rides, you cannot ride unless you have someone else who comes along with you and wants to be on that family slide with you. You just can't ride it by yourself. Also at Cedar Point and Indiana Beach, both, you cannot ride the giant wheel or the Ferris wheel. So both of those things, there are just a few things that you can't do. Also, being by yourself makes interactive activities like bumper cars less exciting because you can't be with your friends and intentionally bump into them. Instead, you're just the creepy guy who's bumping into a whole bunch of strangers the whole time that you're there. So those things all kind of add to the difficulty. If you've been a part of this channel for a while, or even if you're not, welcome. Please press that subscribe button. I go to Cedar Point just constantly by myself. And if I'm not going to Cedar Point, I'm going to Indiana Beach, going to Kings Island, I'm going to Kings Dominion, or I'm going to Carowinds, or I'm going to Disney or Universal Studios. All of those are different things I have down below. Other than Kings Dominion, I don't know why I said that, but maybe we'll get there this year. Who knows? So go check those videos out if you want to know a little bit more about those different parks. But yeah, it's definitely fun though for me to travel by myself. So now let's get to the pros of why I think you should travel by yourself, why I think it's definitely worth it. Holding this thing, I'm just touching it to try to make sure it's not constantly doing this the entire time, because the second it starts moving, it doesn't stop. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It's hurting my arms so bad. So I'm taking breaks in between takes. Now, the positives of traveling by yourself is, first of all, you can go where you want to go when you want to go there. To me, I love being able just to go. I'm a very last minute kind of a person. I don't like to have to plan things in advance, and when I do have to plan things in advance, it drives me kind of crazy, especially when I have to work with other people to try to plan the thing in advance. I can do it. I don't love to, though. I want to be able to pick up and leave whenever I want to. Now, one thing that I will say, though, is especially as far as this YouTube channel has gone, now I really have gotten used to doing a lot more planning. I have just a full spreadsheet on Canva that shows me every single date that I'm going to be out and where I am, all that kind of stuff. But I've never enjoyed being that person. I still don't like being it, but I do it just because I kind of need to know what is being filmed when, and get a bit more of an idea of how much coverage I have and how many videos actually need to be filmed still, all that kind of stuff. I've never been this organized, and I feel like I've betrayed myself, but but it's something that I don't like to do, is just to plan a ton. So being able just to pick up and leave whenever I would like to, and even if I do have things planned a little bit, being able just to still be like, hey, I just feel like going to Cedar Point this weekend, and going is definitely worthwhile to me. Beyond that, your schedule just gets quite a bit better inside the park. To be completely fair, everything that I do inside the park is done on a very limited schedule. So when I'm able to do so much in the park, partly that's because I am single, because I don't need to wait on someone else who needs to go to the bathroom. I don't need to wait on someone else who would like to get a meal or wants to get a drink, or who just doesn't want to ride that ride, so they don't ride that ride. Now, my channel is still full of tips and tricks that can definitely help you during your theme park days, but that is one thing that definitely helps, traveling by yourself. If you're by yourself, then you're much more likely to be able to just choose what you think is best and go with your gut reaction, rather than working with a bunch of other people who are in your group. Now, obviously, also on my channel, I have vlogs with my daughter, I have vlogs with my friends, I have vlogs with other YouTubers, and those things always add a little layer of complication to what you're doing, because you do need to look out for the needs of other people in that case. You know, making bathroom breaks and making more opportunities for people to go get drinks or find a snack, or whatever needs to happen, definitely should be a part of your day. But a lot of times those things kind of just happen organically throughout your days, but they do make you lose time that you could be going and riding every single coaster, things like that. So sometimes that can make things a little bit more difficult with a large group of people, and the larger your group of people is, the more difficult it becomes. Another pro of traveling alone is the flexibility to meet people. I know that sounds kind of weird, kind of backwards, but actually, like, Theme Park Mark is one that's a pretty clear one for me with that. I was down in Busch Gardens and had posted some stuff on social media that I was in Central Florida, and he'd reached out to me and was just like, hey, I'm going to be down in Busch Gardens on this day. Are you going to be in that area? And I happened to be there on the same day. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's hang out. So he and I got to hang out there. Also, you could definitely go check out Theme Park Mark if you'd like to. He has some great POVs that are definitely worthwhile. And I never really would have gotten to meet him had I been with a group of people. Drew and Yoko from DROKO, they're the same thing too. They've always been really fun to hang out with, and I got to meet them on a group day, but then basically we kind of broke off, and Drew and Yoko and I all just kind of ended up hanging out at the end of that day, and kind of just forged a friendship from that point. So it's definitely worthwhile to go be by yourself, because it does give you that flexibility, where if you're with other people, you're going to feel a bit more pressure to not just accept any person, because who knows what they might be like. You can actually do a little bit more meeting of people at the parks, which I definitely think is fun. I alluded to it earlier, but it also is nice to be able to travel and go where you want. If there's a roadside attraction, you can stop at it. I mentioned that I stop and I'll take naps, things like that. I've stopped at different malls along the way, and either on my way down through like Dayton or coming up here. There's actually a mall that I'm literally passing right now here in Toledo. So that's definitely fun to just be able to stop, grab something to eat, grab something to drink. Again, the flexibility and freedom of being by yourself and traveling by yourself is definitely a nice thing, just in general, altogether, whether that means, what bathroom breaks you're taking and how long you actually spend in the bathroom, or just being able to go hang out on the beach more, or what rides you're riding, all those things. The flexibility is really a great thing. My final pro is something that I also think a lot of people would view as a con, and it's that it takes a lot of confidence to be by yourself, to travel by yourself. I don't know why exactly. It's kind of the same phenomenon as not eating lunch by yourself. Like, you don't want to go to a restaurant by yourself because you think people will look at you and they'll think, oh, what a loser, he's by himself. First of all, why? Why would they even think that? But secondly, people are thinking a lot less about you than you may think that they're thinking. Now, they notice me because I have a camera, and I'm talking to myself in the park, which also takes a lot of confidence, which I've built up over the years. And actually, I have found it to be a very positive experience, both in self-confidence, but also in just getting to know myself better, and being willing to put myself out there more just to go to the park and hang out. Sometimes you're just having a crappy day, and just being at a theme park can really help things. And you don't have to worry about, did my schedule match up with my 5 other friends to be able to go today? Because sometimes schedules just don't match up, or it's hard to get things to match up and you want to go anyway. I remember in like 2018, 2019, it was me and my daughter, and I'd go with just me and my daughter, but I never wanted to go to Cedar Point unless I had a friend joining me also. And that really hampered me because I didn't want to go by myself and look like a loser. First of all, I am a loser. That's okay. But secondly, there's no reason to feel that way in any case. Like, you can build up that confidence and just be like, no, I can go someplace by myself. That is completely okay. I've also found it to be a very positive situation for my own mental health. Having the time by yourself to just kind of be in silence. You can look at things, but the whole time you're looking at the park, you're also thinking about yourself, thinking about your life, having some time to maybe even run over your finances or things like that. There's nothing wrong with traveling by yourself, and part of that is the solitude that comes with it, the being able to think about what needs to happen and the other parts of your life that are still existing while you're at the park. So yes, it can be a respite from your life, and it can be like a vacation, but it also can help you get some distance and get some clarity on things that are happening, and just be able to spend some time by yourself someplace, but also someplace that's fun and is a bit of a distraction. So there are multiple different things that I think help within that, and one of them is just your mental health. So I've found that traveling by myself gives me greater freedom. It also is good for my mental health, and I am able to accomplish a lot more in my days being by myself. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Like I said earlier, is this something that you do? Is this something you've refused to do? Or maybe have I changed your opinion at all? I'd love to hear you guys down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today, and I hope it was enjoyable. I know it was just kind of a stream of consciousness, but I think those are fun every once in a while to do. So thank you guys so much for hanging out, and let's go! Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right, or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!